Now, to honor 3 landmark contributions to the Koch Institute, we have some gifts this evening. The first is for Judy and Erica Swanson, and I hope both of you will come up, please. Judy, Erica, come on up. And Judy, thank you for sharing Erica with us last summer. So with the presentation of this commemorative plaque, we're going to see this. I want to thank both of you for your marvelous generosity and leadership in funding and inspiring others to help fund the Swanson Biotechnology Center in memory of your husband and father, Robert A. Swanson. Looks very cute. Yeah. As Erica has said more eloquently than I ever could, it's impossible to think of any memorial more fitting to the legendary founder of Genentech and a proud and much-loved member of the MIT class of 1970. The plaque reads, "Presented to Judy and Erica Swanson with gratitude on the occasion of the dedication of the Robert A. Swanson Biotechnology Center in honor of Robert A. Swanson, husband and father, and a leader of the biotechnology revolution and a visionary pioneer in the commercialization of recombinant DNA technology. By providing MIT faculty and students from all across our campus with these extraordinary shared tools, the two of you are truly fueling our race to the future, and we cannot thank you enough." We also have a gift to honor the generosity of Charlie Johnson, Charles B. Johnson, and his wife Ann. And I know Ann couldn't be here, but Charlie, could you come up and join me on stage? So this commemorative plaque is just a small expression of enormous gratitude to you, Charlie and Ann, for your support in creating and sustaining the Philip Alden Russell East Gallery. The gallery is named to honor Charlie's great mentor, MIT alumnus Philip Alden Russell. The plaque reads, "Presented to Charles B. and Ann L. Johnson by President Susan Hockfield with gratitude on the occasion of the dedication of the Philip Alden Russell East Gallery at the David H. Koch Institute for Integrative Cancer Research at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology." You know, thanks to you, as we saw tonight, our discoveries are going to shine out into the world. And I'm delighted to say that Philip Alden Russell's daughter and granddaughter have joined us tonight. I am so delighted to have you here at MIT. Thank you very, very much. And now, drum roll, as we turn to our third gift, it is a very great pleasure to introduce David Koch. In his long relationship with MIT, David has given the Institute many gifts, starting, believe it or not, with a basketball scoring record that was unbroken for 46 years. Now, that explains why, in addition to our work against cancer, he also is helping our basketball team. He recently endowed the position of MIT's head basketball coach, a fabulous guy, Larry Anderson. And with that enthusiasm, Coach Anderson went on to bring our team to their third NUMAC championship in 3 years, the first ever in MIT's history. And so tomorrow night, our team is going to play in the NCAA Division III championship. Go Engineers. David has also given us the benefit of his wisdom and vision and his attention to detail. In planning for the building, those of you who know David will understand this, and those of you who don't won't believe it. But David explored everything from the plumbing and carpeting materials to the MRI lab space and the heating and chilling units. He really helped us focus on the things that were going to make the building strong from the inside out. Time and again, David has given us the resources and the courage to move ahead in exciting new directions, from the David H. Koch School of Chemical Engineering Practice to the Koch Biology Building, and now the David H. Koch Institute for Integrative Cancer Research, to mention only a few of the areas that have benefited from his generous contributions. And his support for cancer research goes well beyond the building, to include major gifts for equipment, for fellowships, for research funding and program support, the prestigious Institute Professorship that's held by pioneering inventor Bob Langer, and 2 new professorships that I'm delighted to announce tonight: the David H. Koch Institute Inaugural Chair in Science, and appropriately, the David H. Koch Institute Inaugural Chair in Engineering. Thank you, David. Above all, David has given us his extraordinary example of philanthropic drive. He has a passion for MIT and a great vision for what MIT can do to advance education and research in service to the world. David Koch is without a doubt one of the great philanthropists of our time, and we're profoundly grateful for his confidence in MIT. So David, please come on up. On behalf of the great extended family of MIT, and on behalf of the millions of people whose lives will be touched by the work that you've enabled here, allow me to express our thanks with a very special gift. It's over here. And some of you who are further than 2 feet away won't be able to see what it is, so I'm going to explain. It is a replica of the timeline of the science and engineering history at MIT that hangs in the lobby of the Koch Institute. It shows the whole history from our founding in 1861 up till the present, with the inauguration of the Koch Institute. The inscription reads, "Presented to David H. Koch, class of 1962, by President Susan Hockfield, with gratitude on the occasion of the dedication of the David H. Koch Institute for Integrative Cancer Research at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology." The timeline exhibits the parallel histories of these disciplines during MIT's first 150 years. The timeline is a continuum, closing with an opening, anticipating future discoveries. David, thank you so very, very much, and I hope we'll get you to say a few words. Thanks.
Well, good evening, everyone. This is a remarkable inspiration event this evening. I can't tell you how much it means to me to be here. It's one of the most meaningful occasions of my life. And thank you, Susan, for that very kind introduction. Your comments are very gracious and very much appreciated. And thanks to all of you in the audience for being here this evening to help make this event one of the most important ones of my life. In my own words, I'd like to also recognize the presence of my wife, Julia, who came up from New York this afternoon to be here, and my brother Charles and his wife, Liz, who flew all the way in from Kansas to be here this evening and tomorrow. Thank you, Charles and Liz and Julia, for being here. I'd like to make some comments about Dr. Harold Varmus. Harold, as you know, is the director of the National Cancer Institute. He, I think, spoke beautifully this evening. I loved his history about Salvador Luria and the other information he described about the origins of the Cancer Institute here at MIT. Last year, Harold retired after 10 years as president of the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York City. He performed absolutely magnificently in that job, and today that institution is in a far better shape as a result of his tremendous service. I should know, as I've been a trustee of Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center for over 20 years. I wish Harold great success in improving the National Cancer Institute as much as he has improved Memorial Sloan Kettering. Go get him, Harold. It is hard to believe that it was almost 3 years ago that many of us here this evening assembled on this exact spot to participate in a wonderful and inspirational groundbreaking ceremony. The proposed research building was a most ambitious project. It was to be built in only 3 years, which is a remarkable short time for such a complex building. The size was to be 365,000 square feet, and the cost was estimated at $305 million. The building was designed to be large enough to contain a maximum of 500 occupants, half of whom were to be basic cancer researchers, and the other half bioengineers. And finally, it was hoped that this structure would be extremely functional as well as beautiful. This was the dream, and in my humble judgment, it has succeeded magnificently on all accounts. Not only is the building immensely loved by the occupants, but it was completed under budget and several months ahead of schedule, an achievement that both the MIT administration and myself assuredly are most pleased about the project. How did this miracle come to pass? Let me review some history that many of you may already know, which Harold has covered to some extent. Dr. Salvador Luria, a Nobel laureate, proposed a cancer research center for MIT in December 1972. The ultimate choice for the research facility for this endeavor, it turned out to be a chocolate factory on Ames Street, just a few hundred yards from where we are tonight. This facility was taken over, and over the next 2 years, converted to a research laboratory, opening in mid-1974. This new laboratory served the Cancer Center well for many years, but by the end of the 1990s, it had become overcrowded and very much obsolete. The leaders of the Cancer Center began pleading for construction of a world-class laboratory building to compete with the many cancer research laboratories being built by other institutions across the country. Due to other priorities, the MIT administration delayed acting on this request. In early 2004, I was taken on a tour of the Cancer Center's laboratory building and was very disappointed with the conditions I observed. It became dramatically apparent that unless MIT committed to build a state-of-the-art facility for its cancer staff, it was at great risk of losing some of its best people to other institutions. At the Cancer Center's 30th anniversary dinner in the summer of 2004, I was invited to speak, and on that occasion I voiced my strong support for such a facility. Later that fall, at the end of the MIT Corporation meeting, I took the opportunity to speak passionately in favor of the project and concluded with a brief account of my own personal battle with prostate cancer. With tears running down my face, I begged the MIT Corporation to commit to this essential project. I was treated to a standing ovation, and shortly thereafter, MIT reserved a superb site for the new laboratory and promptly embarked on a serious study of the project. My takeaway from this experience was that if you really want something, you should cry when you're making your pitch. It improves your chances of getting approval immensely. Highly recommended. One thing led to another, and in the fall of 2006, MIT announced its intention of building a state-of-the-art cancer research laboratory, which would be large enough to house the researchers working in what was then called the MIT Cancer Center. Along the way, I committed to a large gift to support the project, then later doubled it, and then doubled it again when it was decided to substantially expand the research building to include an equal number of bioengineers to work alongside the basic cancer researchers. Finally, I contributed still more funds to pay for the purchase of a large number of state-of-the-art instruments and research equipment to be available when the new building opened. In 2007, two major decisions were made. One was the selection of the architectural firm of Ellensweig Associates, and the other, the choice of the construction manager, which was the firm of William A. Barry and Son. Both choices were superb. These organizations have had long experience designing and building research facilities, which were very easy to work with. In particular, Ellensweig worked closely with the key research leaders who were to occupy the new labs as to how they should be designed, a role the researchers very much appreciated. A number of MIT leaders have stated to me that this building was designed from the inside out, unlike some research laboratories located elsewhere, which is a major reason for the building's enormous popularity. Before I conclude my remarks, I very much want to compliment MIT's president, Susan Hockfield, and the Koch Institute's director, Tyler Jacks, for the critical role in supporting, promoting, and overseeing this sensational project. Without their intimate involvement, this building would never have been built. Also, I have to thank Susan for the dozens and dozens of letters I received from her starting in 2005, updating me over the years on all aspects of the project. As for Tyler, he was even more helpful with his correspondence, as it amounted to at least 3 times that of Susan's. They're wonderful writers, both of them. Since I will be giving another speech tomorrow at the dedication ceremony, I will save my personal comments for then. Let me finish tonight by repeating the old truism that success has 1,000 fathers, while failure is an orphan. By that standard, our brilliant research building truly has 1,000 fathers, a fact that we can all be proud of. Thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for your most sincere interest and support. Good evening.
Well, thank you, David, for those inspirational words and for your remarkable generosity to those of us here at MIT, to those of us who occupy the Koch Institute, and for those who care about cancer and cancer research the world over. You've done a remarkable thing here. Thank you all for coming out this evening and sharing this wonderful occasion, this lovely setting. We look forward to seeing you all tomorrow at the dedication, which will take place right here at 4 o'clock, and we look forward to interacting with you all in the years to come as we truly change the course for cancer. And before I leave you now, I think we should remember 2 important conclusions from tonight's remarks. First, always wear a dress, and remember to cry. Thank you and good night.